Broadcasting to you live from Dar es Salaam, Tanzania, this is TBC News, our top stories tonight. President Samia announces ambitious plan to promote youth engagement in agriculture. Police force assures Tanzania is safe. Good evening, I am Kefa Igilo. You can also follow us live via our YouTube channel, TBConline, and also get all the latest news through our Instagram, Facebook, and Twitter pages at TBConline. President Dr. Samia Suluhu Hassan says her government is determined to give Tanzanian youth access to land ownership as part of a wider plan aiming at promoting youth engagement in agriculture. In supporting of President Dr. Samia's commitment to agriculture, the African Development Bank, AFDB, announced a package of $120 million to the sector, which will focus on 4 value chains through irrigations and logistics hubs. As part of the Tanzania government's program named Building a Better Tomorrow, President Samia says selected youth will be allocated up to 10 acres of land each, which they will end up owning. The head of the state made the remarks during the official opening ceremony of the 2nd edition of the Dakar Summit on Agriculture and Agribusiness in Senegal, which discusses how to make agriculture more attractive to young people, land access issues, technologies, and finance. President Samia says Tanzania is currently in the process of recruiting the first batch of youth who will be enrolled in mid-February 2023 for a 3-month training program, after which they will be allocated with land. These are part of ambitious measures taken by the government to ensure enough food availability. The 3-day summit in Dakar, the Senegalese capital, ends tomorrow, Friday, January 27th. The police force in the country has allayed fears about possible attacks that threats in Dar es Salaam or any other areas, insisting the police force is always on high alert to deal with any act that causes dismay to the citizens. Police force spokesperson David Msime says the force started working on the cautionary messages issued by diplomatic communities yesterday and asked all citizens to remain calm and continue with the usual daily activities.
Jeshi la polisi baada ya kuona taarifa hiyo ya tahadhari ikisambaa katika vyombo vya habari ilianza mara moja kuifanyia kazi taarifa hiyo.
The police force in Tanzania dealt with the information that was spread on different social media immediately. We would like to inform all citizens that the state of peace and security of this country is stable. For the reason, they can carry on with their daily activities without any worry. We urge everyone to report at the police station if there is an event that can cause harm in the society.
Au mtu au watu wanaotia mashaka kutokana na mienendo yao, basi tunaomba taarifa zitolewe haraka ili ziweze kufanywa kazi. Asanteni kwa kusikiliza.
Yesterday, the U.S. Embassy in Tanzania issued a security alert warning of possible attack on large gatherings frequented by U.S. citizens and other Westerners, specifically in Dar es Salaam. The government, through the Tanzania Electrical, Mechanical and Electronic Services Agency, TAMESA, has launched the construction of 3 new ferries that will provide transport services in Lake Victoria in Mwanza region between the areas of Buiro Bukonda, Ijinga Kahangala, and Nyakalilo-Kome. The construction of those ferries, which is expected to solve the challenge of water transportation in those areas, will cost 13.9 billion shillings. The Deputy Permanent Secretary, Ministry of Works and Transport, Ludovic Ndohie, directs all authorities tasked to oversee the construction, including Tanzania Shipping Agencies Corporation TASAC, to ensure that the ferries are built with quality that meets international standards. Here, it's a report by Moses Matthew, read by Faida Ngaga.
The government continues to take various measures to improve water transportation in the country. This time is the construction of 3 new ferries that will provide services in Lake Victoria. The ferries will provide services in the areas of Bukondo and Biro Island in Ukerewe District, Nyakaliro and Kome Island in Sengerema District, as well as Afhora and Ijinga Island in Magu District.
Upon completion of this project, they will make it easier for the residents and all other around the country to reach various places in Mwanza region, and that will boost the economic activities and get social services in a short time.
The construction of the ferries, which was carried out by Songora Marine Company in Mwanza, has been officiated by the Mwanza Regional Commissioner, Adam Malima.
We are confident of the constructions of these projects. However, all government officials want the projects to be completed on time. These are highly crucial projects for our country.
The construction of all 3 ferries is expected to be completed by July 15th this year and will cost about 13.9 billion shillings.
All of these 3 ferries will be constructed following international standards, and we plan to ensure that we complete them according to our contracts.
The ferries are among the 8 ferries expected to be built by the government in this financial year, while 14 ferries are expected to be repaired. The project of construction and repair of the ferries is implemented by Tanzania Electrical, Mechanical and Electronic Services Agency, TEMESA, in this financial year and is expected to cost the government 60.3 billion shillings.
We have various authorities for standard control, such as TASAC, to ensure the quality of our projects. I advise TASAC to supervise the contractors to see if they follow the international standards.
The Tanzania Revenue Authority, TRA, calls on the customs stakeholders to work together with the TRA to remove the customs barriers along the borders, which delays the economic growth. The TRA Custom Commissioner made the remarks in Dar es Salaam during the opening of the International Customs Day celebrations, whose theme is nurturing the next generation, promoting a culture of knowledge sharing and professional pride in customs. Rehema Sebabili has more details.
World Customs Day is celebrated every January 26 with the aim of bringing together members of the Global Customs Organization to facilitate international trade and collect customs duties. Speaking, the Customs Commissioner from TRA, Said Athman, said Tanzania is one of the countries that benefit from the organization through training in a bid to facilitate cross-border movements of business at the borders and ports.
As we move on every day and as the technology improves, we now apply advanced technology mechanism in which we help our importers and our clients. Now, as I said, we are using Tanzania Customs Information System. This is an IT system where importers do not have to meet physically with the customs officers. We meet virtually because they process documents from their offices, and we process their document in our offices, and we interchange. We share information virtually without meeting. So this is how we have improved the way we process documentation in Tanzania.
The customs stakeholders commended that TRA has improved the services delivery at the customs through technology.
Our country needs to bind together to recover and rebuild stronger than ever before. We have been hit hard. The road to recovery is steppy, but takes the journey together. I am confident that we are able to bounce back soon. I urge you, the TRA, to continue to respond decisive and innovative so as to contribute to faster recovery.
It is our intention to assist TRA and to also request them within their strategic plan to continue capacity building us as Tanzanians in terms of customs, but also regional players and regional partners, especially in the SADC region, who require to know the skills and the technology on how to administrate customs properly.
We really appreciate because, for example, on Namanga, one-stop border center, we see how TRA provide the service or improve the provision of service to business community. So we really appreciate, and we are happy now to see the improvement from Tanzania Revenue Authority.
The celebration went hand in hand with the award of certificates to some institutions that have been at the forefront to support the customs development activities. Reporting from Dar es Salaam, Rehema Sibabili, TBC News.
Thank you very much, Rehema. The Minister for Health and Community Development, Umi Mwalimu, says Muhimbili Hospital has enough medical experts for each department to cater for all medical services. She was visiting Muhimbili National Hospital, Mloganzila branch, where she also had a chance to attend some medical service concerns in the hospital. Apasi Aringo has more details.
Muhimbili National Hospital, Mloganzila branch, a major investment made by the government in the health sector. The Minister for Health and Community Development, Umi Mwalimu, arrives here to attend to some concerns given by some patients and to eyewitness the medical operations in the hospital. Citizens were given an opportunity to share their concerns on medical services provided in this hospital.
I thank
President Dr. Samia Suluhu Hassan for giving me a waiver of my father's medical expense because we were owed 1.5 million shillings, but we are told to pay 102,300 shillings only.
And here Minister Umi assures the availability of all medical services and the presence of specialists in the hospital.
I encourage you to have faith on the services provided here. You do not need to hesitate when your patient is referred to Mloganzila because medical experts of the relevant departments are available here with great medical services.
The minister also speaks about the problem of mental health that is seemingly becoming an issue of concern in the society, explaining the steps taken by the government. For her part, head of the mental health unit, Dr. Fileuka Ngakongwa, here explains the magnitude of the problem.
Mpango wetu sisi kama serikali ni kuhakikisha tunajenga hicho kituo cha kisasa cha magonjwa na afya ya akili.
The government has planned to ensure that we build a modern mental health center, and I wish to see patients get the best care, such as counseling that will help them have a quick recovery.
Fanyia counseling, akaona garden nzuri, unajua pia green nao ni sehemu ya kufanya mtu una cool down your mind.
Idadi inaongezeka kwa sababu tulianza na wagonjwa wachache sana.
The number of psychiatric patients has increased to 25, unlike before, where we received 3 to 4 patients on different locations.
The Muhimbili National Hospital Director General, Professor Mohamed Janabi, highlights on the increase in the number of patients in the hospital, as well as the medical advancements that have been achieved so far.
Perception nzuri kwa wananchi kwamba huduma hapa zipo za kibingwa.
I assure you that professional services are available, especially now that we have moved 3 major departments from Muhimbili Upanga to Mloganzila. This is due to the occupants of beds reaching 110%, where 2 patients shared 1 bed, while here in Mloganzila there are more than 600 empty beds.
Finally, Minister Umi reminds the citizens at the hospital of the progress of universal health insurance. Apasi Aringo, TBC News.
On to the next one. TU Board of Tanzania Managing Director Nicholas Mauya says from 10th of February this year, TU will be officially sold through Tanzania Mercantile Exchange, TMX, after the government completed the system to facilitate commodity exchange for the product. He had a meeting with large-scale and small-scale tea producers and processors to provide them with training in the use of online marketing system that will open access to the world market.
Mafunzo ya leo yamelenga kuhakikisha kwamba wazalishaji.
Today's training aimed at ensuring producers know how to use the system so that they can sell their tea product direct to their customers. In that system, they can make sure their information pertaining to their product are well put on the system. They can also determine which buyer has bought their tea product.
For his part, TMX Executive Director Godfrey Malekano says that the system will increase the individual farmers' income as well as the government's revenue.
This system will enable the cost of transaction to be low, but also increase efficiency so that people do not have necessarily go to Mombasa for trading. They can now just trade here and get favorable prices. We also plan to attract other neighboring countries such as Malawi, Rwanda, and Burundi. These countries can all sell their tea on Dar es Salaam market, and also they can transport their tea through the Dar es Salaam port.
TMX is an organized marketplace providing a platform where buyers and sellers come together to trade assured of quality, quantity, payment, and delivery. It began operations in 2018 with a goal to increase access to markets for buyers and sellers of commodities in Tanzania. NMB Bank has announced a net profit of 429 billion shillings for the year 2022, which is an increase of 47% compared to the profit of 290 billion shillings the bank made in 2021. The NMB Chief Executive Director Officer Ruth Zaipuna says the profit has made the bank break a record as no any other bank in the country has ever recorded a similar amount of profit at the moment.
What has enabled us to attain this level of success is the high-quality strategies and plans that we have. Also, the discipline to execute all these strategies. Sustainable investments that we keep on doing, specifically in the digital arena. All this aiming at simplifying access to our services.
She adds that the management of the bank, in consultation with the board of directors, have set aside 6.2 billion shillings to give back to the community in an amount that is more than 1% of the profit that they have been setting aside every year. The NMB Bank financial calculations for the year 2022 has increased from 976 billion shillings they got in 2021 to reach 1.2 trillion, while the value of the bank asset has increased to reach 10.2 trillion and customers' account has reached 6 million. Deputy Minister for Minerals, Dr. Ruswa, says the efficiency in the operations of the Barrick Mining Company has enabled the government to secure $261 million as a fee and $42 million as dividends for the financial year 2021-2022. He was speaking at a meeting with the company's management and mining stakeholders in Bulyanhulu in Shinyanga. Dr. Kiluswa adds the government will continue to cooperate with the company. The government intends to build the economy through the mining sector, so it expects them to invest in expertise and technology.
Wataalamu wetu ambao tayari ni wabobezi wakasome teknolojia za kisasa.
Our experts from this field should get new skills on the mining sector outside the country, as we know that there are various kinds of technology that are used to determine the existence of minerals before the extraction process.
Na hawa wanajua, kwa hiyo watusaidie katika kuendeleza ujuzi huo.
Presenting company's performance report, the Barrick Mining Company President and Chief Executive Officer Mark Bristow says that since they took control of the Bulyanhulu and North Mara mines, they have injected $2.4 billion into the Tanzanian economy.
Productive partnership with the government is when both parties get equal benefits. We all know how we are cooperating with these communities of Bulyanhulu as well as North Mara.
Since 2019, the Barrick Company has employed the Tanzanian by 96%, while also giving back to the community in areas such as education and health. That item concludes local news tonight. International news is up next. In the international news, President Hage Geingob of Namibia says his country has several African countries remain neutral in the ongoing Russia-Ukraine conflict and will continue to call for de-escalation. About 17 African countries overwhelmingly declined to vote in a United Nations resolution condemning Russia's action last year, with some citing historical support Russia offered during the continent's fighting against colonialism. Blanche Goreses reports from Namibia.
President Geingob told the visiting EU commissioners that the impact of the conflict has spared no one, but he cautioned against the use of bilateral and multilateral cooperation as leverage to influence opinions.
Any war is not good. So therefore our position as Africans is that we are neutral, but positive in saying no war is good. So they should put our relationship against your problem of war. We are cooperating as Namibia and EU. That's how I put it. So you put it like we are doing it to help you to escape from other problems. But we are doing it because we are interested in developing our country. We have these resources, you have the means, you have everything to go and use it. We're going to use it. That's why we are cooperating. So I got your point. I know how we are feeling. Why it's not good. But we are neutral in this one. Africans have been abstaining. It doesn't mean we are endorsing any killing of anybody or so on.
Because we feel that they are not only fighting for their country, but they are fighting for all of us, also for the UN Charter, for the values. But, Your Excellency, what I want to underline, and we also had a good discussion and very frank and open discussion on this topic with your Deputy Prime Minister this week, we have not turned our back to the rest of the world, because we fully understand that even though the crisis is taking place in our European soil, the crisis is global. You are facing the consequences of that war in your country because of the food security, because of the energy inflation and so forth. So we just wanted to underline that we fully understand the challenges also the global south, including Namibia, is facing, and we are ready to support you.
We understand, as my colleague said, the African position. We know what Macky Sall said, we respect it. We, in Europe, decided that it was important to accelerate the green transition. We had already this framework, but it is true that we didn't start really. My comment was not, I'm African myself, I'm Senegalese, so I understand 100% what you say.
That was international news. Sport news is up next. And here is sport news with Mario Cheto.
Simba Sports Club fans have signaled a green light to the new appointed Chief Executive Officer, CEO Imani Kajula, who replaces the former CEO Barbara Gonzalez. Speaking with the TBC News in Dar es Salaam, Simba Sports Club fans have inspired the new CEO to make sure that Simba reaches semi-final of African Champions League this season.
Nataka hapa tulipo.
We are in group stage that will start soon. We want him to lead us into last year's stage and go further.
Zidi kupita zaidi ya pale.
Anachotaka ni anze nacho.
We want him to lead us into CAF Champions League semi-finals.
Tuendelee kushinda.
I want Simba to continue winning inside and outside the country. That is one. But to reach sustainable development, we want to build Simba as an organization.
Imani Kajula has signed a 6-month contract to work with Simba. At the end of this month, the club is about to conduct general elections to elect new leaders. Wimbledon champion Elena Rybakina has secured another shot at a major title after reaching the Australian Open final, where she will play Anna Sabalenka. Rybakina, who is 23, won 7-6, 6-3 against Victoria Azarenka, ending the two-time champion's hope of winning the title 10 years after her last triumph. Sabalenka beat Poland Magna Lenity to reach her first major final. The powerful 24-year-old won by 7-6, 6-2 against her unseeded opponent. After losing 3 times in a major semi-final, Sabalenka relief was evident after securing her place in Sunday's showpiece against another big hitter. Malio Cheto, TBC News.
And that marks the end of News Bulletin for tonight. Thank you very much for watching. My name is Kefa Igilo. Good night.